Did you draft Ceedee Lamb in fantasy football this year? Let's talk about it. Ceedee Lamb finished 2024 as the wide receiver 8 and is currently ranked as the wide receiver 3 or the 5th overall player. Now, Lamb had what many people would consider an overall disappointing year last year, as he was drafted as the wide receiver 2 and, as I said, only finished as the wide receiver 8. However, I do think that people are slightly overreacting to Lamb's production last year. In the 8 games Lamb played with Dak Prescott, he only had 1 game with less than 10 points and 5 with 15 plus, which is, in my opinion, borderline the baseline for wide receiver 1 production, 15 points. Additionally, when Dak got injured and Cooper Rush came in, Lamb only had 2 games with less than 10 and 5 with 15 or more points. And I think this kind of shows that Lamb, while the loss of quarterbacks or bad quarterback play definitely impacts him, Lamb is still relatively safe regardless of bad quarterback play like he saw last year. Additionally, the offseason addition of George Pickens, I think, is a net buff for Ceedee Lamb, as Pickens will take some of the pressure off Lamb, as last year he was essentially the only viable target in a bad Cowboys offense. I think the Pickens addition is a net positive. In summary, I do think that Ceedee Lamb should be considered a step behind Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, but I do think he is the only player who could challenge Jamar Chase and Jefferson for wide receiver number 1 overall, just because I think that Dak Prescott will not be as bad as he was last year, and I think that with a better quarterback play, Lamb could easily shore up the weeks where he wasn't as good last year as you would have wanted him to be, and that just dragged down his overall fantasy production. So yes, I see him as an A overall player and a guy who I'm very happy to take at ADP.